Imagine realizing that the down payment that you've been saving to buy your primary home in Brooklyn would be enough money to buy your second home entirely in cash. On today's Real Stories episode, you'll meet Liz, who traded city price tags for the Hudson Valley, and hear why that property didn't stay her second home for very long. What if your 401k came with a fire pit and a lake view? That's the question that inspired it all. I'm Katie Klein, and living in New York City meant buying a home felt impossible. So I decided to flip the script and buy my second home first. When I'm not there, it doubles as a short-term rental, covering its costs, building equity, and even turning a profit. And best of all, it gives me a place to vacation for free. What 401k can do that? Every week, join me as we hear from real people who've done the same and experts who can help you do it too. If you thought owning any home, let alone a second one, was out of reach, this is the show for you. This is Second Home First. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Second Home First. I'm your host, Katie Klein, and today we have a really exciting Real Stories episode for you all. Today, I'm chatting with Liz, who was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. When she and her husband began house hunting in Greenpoint, she was shocked to learn that a barely 3-bedroom fixer-upper would cost her $3 million. So instead, Liz decided to buy her second home first, a gorgeous A-frame in the Hudson Valley's Dover Plains, for less than a fifth of what a smaller place would have cost her in Brooklyn. We discuss how making gingerbread houses with her kids by the fireplace sold her on that home, what a novelty a pantry is for those of us coming from tight urban apartments, and the surprising outcome of this purchase for her and her family that no one, including all of them, saw coming. So, without further ado, let's hear from Liz. Liz, you decided to buy your second home first. Where were you living at the time that you made that decision?
Yeah. So at the time, we were living in Brooklyn, New York, which is the same place that I had been raised, where my father had also been raised. My husband and I met in Brooklyn in 2017, where I had been living since 2013 after moving back from school. And we were living in Greenpoint at the time, which is a really hip neighborhood in Brooklyn. We had lived in a couple apartments there, really loved the neighborhood. And we were looking around there for places to buy.
Yeah, it sounds like Brooklyn is so almost central to not only your relationship, but you growing up there, your family being from there. So it sounds like you did think about buying there. What were you looking at in terms of approximate price point in that area?
We really had a budget through the years because it was a years-long process. We began looking pretty much right after we got married in 2018, and our budget ranged anywhere between 1.5 and at a certain point, we almost were stretching up to 3 million. But it would have taken a really big mortgage in order to do that.
And this $3 million purchase, I assume it was probably 18 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, on the
Yeah, right.
water.
Right. Unfortunately, with Brooklyn, it was a 3-bedroom, and it was a 3-bedroom that you could hardly call a 3-bedroom. The third bedroom was really like an office, and it would have required a lot of work in order to turn it into a house that we could live in long term because the bedrooms were really tiny.
And money, I imagine, then too.
Exactly. So on top of the incredibly high purchase price, there were renovation costs that we were looking at as well.
So where did you guys decide to buy instead?
So we ended up buying in Dover Plains, which is in the Hudson Valley in New York. It's really close to the Connecticut border, less than 2 hours away from the city. We loved that it's close to the city, that without traffic, we can be there really quickly. But it really feels like you're very far away when you're up here. It's all farmland and rolling hills. There are cows and horses, which I really love to see. So it's been really great so far. It's very pastoral up here, very different from Greenpoint.
And what was that approximate price range for Dover Plains?
We weren't specifically looking at Dover Plains, but we wanted to spend around 600,000.
Okay, so that's considerably less than the 3,000,000 you were originally thinking. And then like you said, you would have had to renovate on top of that.
Exactly, and the nice thing is, because we had been saving for so long, thinking that we were going to buy a place in Brooklyn, we had a nice chunk of change ready in order to, make a good offer up here and, not have to deal with a mortgage when we eventually did make the purchase.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. You finally bought your dream vacation home. Now what? Your goal is for it to pay for itself, but between managing bookings, guest messages, and cleaners, it can feel like a full time job. That's where Logify comes in. Logify is a comprehensive vacation rental platform that makes it easy to manage and market your second home, even if you're just getting started. From syncing your calendar across Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com to automating payments and guest communication, Logify simplifies it all. It's built for beginners and comes with free one on one onboarding to help you get up and running fast. To make your second home start working for you, visit the link in the show notes and use code SHF20. That's S as in second, H as in home, F as in first, 20 to receive an additional 20% off their yearly and bi-yearly plans.
Finding the right cleaning team has been absolutely crucial to the success of my second homes. They're my eyes and ears on the property when I'm not there, spotting issues early, keeping standards high, and helping me wow guests time and again. But finding someone local you actually trust, that wasn't always easy until I found Turno. Turno connects you with vetted cleaners who understand the demands of short-term rentals in your specific market. Their app makes everything simple, from auto scheduling your cleans to photo and video checklists that ensure your property looks exactly the way you want, and even automatic payments after each clean is completed. Click the link in the show notes to check out Turno and get $25 off your first cleaning.
And now back to the show. And so you said you weren't originally looking in Dover Plains. What was it that eventually brought you there? And when you saw the house that you chose to buy, what were some of the things that you envisioned for your family in that space?
I I've always loved the Hudson Valley. Dover Plains was not necessarily on my radar. It's very east of a lot of the locations that a lot of people typically know that are more on the river. So it really wasn't on my radar. I would say it got on my radar because we were actually driving back from the Berkshires, where we spend a lot of time because we have family up there. And our route was basically through Dover Plains. And I figured, why not just look and see what houses are on the market there? And made an appointment with a realtor for this house. So it was kind of a whim, but we ended up liking it so much and staying here as an Airbnb for a couple of nights to make sure that we really liked it and made an offer on it.
So the house was already an Airbnb and you got to rent it before actually buying it.
That's right.
That's incredible. So you almost got to test drive the car before taking it off the lot.
Yeah, we totally did. And I know that a lot of people don't get to do that, but we thought it was a really great experience because we were able to make sure that we actually could live there.
Yeah, absolutely. We just closed on our third short-term rental vacation home in the Finger Lakes. And
Oh,
that was
congrats.
also, thank you. That was also a short-term rental before we purchased it. And so being able to go through the review history and see, are there things that people are consistently complaining about, or even better for your case, to experience it yourself and stay there and see how it feels. Were there certain memories or experiences that you had in that first stay that really solidified that this was the place you wanted to call home?
Well, we came up right before Christmas, and so it was really snowy up here. We came from the city where it was just kind of cold and sleety, but here it was beautiful and white. It was right before the holidays, so we were able to get all cozy by the fireplace, and we actually built a gingerbread house that was an A-frame, which is actually the same type of house that we ended up buying. And the memory of doing that with my kids in this space made me feel like, oh, yeah, I can create a lot of family memories here.
I like to think about vacation homeowners in three ways. Either you're a profit maximizer, someone who really wants to make as much money as possible from the home. You're a sweet spotter, so you're willing to give up certain high ticket weekends because you want them for yourself, but you'll give other ones to high paying guests. Or you're a first dibber, which means you're going to use the house when you want to, and if you make less money from it, that's okay. When you purchased this home, which camp do you think you fell into?
I definitely was a sweet spotter. I knew that we were going to use it from time to time as a weekend house, but I was really excited about the short-term rental possibilities. We met because I was thinking about that. You were very gracious enough to chat with me about my ideas. And I was really excited about the idea of turning it into a business.
That's right. For anyone watching or listening, Liz and I got connected because I was interviewed on a Bigger Pockets podcast. And hearing that I live in Queens, and as she mentioned, she was in Brooklyn, she reached out. So look at this, guys. You can reach out to people you hear on podcasts or on YouTube and become friends. So
You
I'm
meet
so
people
happy
on
you
the
reached
internet.
out.
Yeah,
The rest is history, as they say.
exactly.
So you went into it as a sweet spotter. You purchased the home. What was the first thing you guys did after closing?
Gosh, I think the first thing I did was actually work on the pantry. As someone who's grown up in Brooklyn, I've never had a pantry. That just seems like extra space. I didn't even know there was like a word for that. And so they had these like vinyl tiles on the shelving in there, and I went in with a blow dryer to basically unstick the glue and like scraped it all up and sanded it all and painted it all, and it was just very satisfying to finally have my own pantry.
That sounds incredible. You're totally right. Here in the city, a lot of us do not have pantries. And if we do, it's probably like also serving space as like a home office and a shoe storage and. But since you fixed the pantry and all of that is looking great, and I'm sure designed the rest of the home, what's happened since?
Yeah, we basically fell in love with being up here. You know, our space up here has an acre and a half, so we have lots of room for our kids to run around. And we loved just being in nature and being outside of the city. We had some decisions that we had to make for my son who's going into kindergarten. And so we decided that we actually wanted to try living up here. And we left Brooklyn and moved up here full time. So rather than renting it out, we have basically moved up here and have turned it into our primary residence.
And before you bought the house, did you think there would ever be a day that you would live someplace other than Brooklyn?
uh no. I mean, I think that I always in the back of my mind hoped I would try something else because I never had really left an urban environment, but I didn't think I was really going to ever get the chance to do it. And so I'm really grateful for this chance. And buying this house really gave me the opportunity to do this because, you know, without a place to live, we wouldn't have been able to leave the city. And this place has really been an inspiration for our family.
That's what I love so much about this strategy. It can serve so many purposes depending on who you are and what's happening in your life. It could provide you income, it can provide you equity and appreciation. It can take a lot of the fear out of leaving the city in the first place. I had a very similar experience. You know, you spend so much time at this house to set it up and to get it guest ready. You fall in love with the area, you get to know the area as well. So that's so inspiring to hear that you guys have actually said, "You know what? We love it so much. We're going to call it home."
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's been a surprise for both me and my husband, but so far we're loving it.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Interior design is one of my favorite parts of buying a second home. I love creating a beautiful space. But let's be honest, staying on budget, managing orders, tracking deliveries, and juggling countless retailers can get overwhelming fast, which is why so many hosts turn to Minoan. With Minoan, you can shop more than 180 brands you love all in one place. That's brands like Crate and Barrel, Samsung, Anthropologie, Article, Casper, and so many more. They give you access to better than trade pricing, something typically reserved for professional designers, allowing you to save on every purchase. They keep every order, delivery, and receipt organized in one clean dashboard. And the best part, there's no membership fee, no subscription, no catch, just a streamlined approach with big savings. Once your second home is set up, Minoan can even make it shoppable. Your place basically becomes a four-walled influencer. So after guests spend a weekend obsessing over your couch or those sheets or that coffee maker, they can scan your QR code and order the exact same item for their own home. You earn a commission, no extra work required. To furnish smarter, visit minoan.com/secondhome to sign up and receive a free $25 in credit.
When I was finally ready to rent out my vacation home, I had no idea what to charge guests. Thankfully, that's when I found Price Labs, a dynamic pricing tool that helps me automate pricing like a pro. It's simple. Price Labs uses real-time data to automatically adjust my rates based on local demand, nearby events, and booking trends. It's easy to use, lets me set my own minimum and maximum prices, and keeps my pricing smart and competitive without any manual work. If you want your vacation home to pay for itself or even turn a profit, you need Price Labs to help you get the most from every booking. Visit the link in the show notes and enter code SECONDHOMEFIRST, all one word, for a 30-day free trial plus $10 off your first invoice. And now back to the show. Did you have any fears or concerns when you guys made the offer on the place? Was there anything holding you back that thought, this is a crazy idea?
I think the only thing that was holding me back was just whether we were going to use it enough. We were worried that we wouldn't be up here enough, ironically. So I guess that fear was pretty unfounded.
What do you wish you knew before you bought your second home first?
My parents also bought their second home first. My parents were also renters in New York. And so I'm a second generation, second home first. So I actually feel like I went in with a different perspective than a lot of people. So I feel like I knew pretty much what I needed to know going into it. And I'm sure that something will come up. We've only been here for about 6 months now, so I'm sure that something will come up. But so far, I've been really happy with the experience.
It's so amazing to hear that your parents did that as well. And I think so much of our fears or our hesitations come from doing things that we didn't see modeled for ourselves. So the fact that you saw it and you saw how it could work, I think that probably gave you a lot of the confidence to say, let's jump right in and do this strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
Last question for you, Liz. What would be your final piece of advice for anyone who's considering doing the same?
I would say that if the numbers work, what it really comes down to is whether your heart is in it. And for me, it's about being passionate about where I'm living and being excited about the place, because I think that it's a real project to make that place shine so that other people want to come with you, whether they're guests or whether they're paying Airbnb guests, for example. So, my advice would really be to find some place that you really love in your heart.
Liz, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Second Home First. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to sign up for my free weekly newsletter at buyyoursecondhomefirst.com, where I share the simple 4-step strategy to help you do the same. If you have a minute to subscribe, rate, or review the show, or even send a favorite episode to a friend, that would mean the absolute world to me. And if you want to be a guest on the show, have a question you want answered, or a topic you think I should cover, send me a note at hello@buyyoursecondhomefirst.com or on social media at buyyoursecondhomefirst. I personally read and respond to every single message. Once again, I'm your host, Katie Klein, and I can't wait to see you all again next week. The content shared on Second Home First is for educational and informational purposes only. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment or financial decisions.